Hi, I'm Labby Kasoulis. It's great to be joining you today to talk about my vision for a more green and decarbonized Nova Scotia. I have always cared about our environment. I've lived this throughout my life. 15 years ago, when my business expanded and we bought a building, through renovations, through early investments in LED light bulbs when there were no incentives available, we cut the power consumption by 60%. This has always been fundamental in my belief, and I also believe that here in Nova Scotia, we can cut our carbon usage as well methane gas and make our economy more green. If you've been following my policies, you will see a common theme. I'm investing in green jobs. I'm transitioning our economy. I'm creating rural jobs in industries that are more green and more sustainable. First, I'd like to talk about my commitment to the Leahy Report. I'm committed to bringing in the Leahy Report prior to calling the next election as your premier. I have been a strong proponent of the Leahy Report from day one. I worked with Dr. David Patrichan, and I approached Premier McNeil and I said we need an independent review done on our forestry practices. We have to ensure that the industry is there for Nova Scotians in the industry and Nova Scotians who care about our forests for generations to come. I was very pleased that Premier McNeil agreed to move ahead with the Leahy Report. I was very saddened that we have not executed this report, and that's why I'm making the commitment to bring the report in. As well, I've had many conversations with people who are concerned about our endangered species in the province, and as your premier, I am committing to you that when we have an endangered species, we will protect the area they're in, their habitat, and make sure that we're not putting them in harm's way. The next part of my policy is changing the culture in government. We, as your government, will become more green ourselves, but we will also change. The revenues we collect from resource-based activities such as mining, forestry, and petroleum extraction will no longer go into our general revenues. They will go into a green fund, and this green fund will fund changes to make Nova Scotia more green and more sustainable. This fund will lay the foundation to fund our green tech jobs, to fund our green energy production, and as well to reduce our carbon emissions into the atmosphere. The last part of my strategy is a roadmap to decarbonize Nova Scotia Power and get it off coal. We will do this with massive amounts of battery storage. I will work with Nova Scotia Power to do it on a large scale, and as well we will provide subsidies for homeowners to do it at their homes. The province of Nova Scotia will bring in an electric car rebate because we know that a lot of the carbon in our atmosphere comes from the vehicles we drive. These are all just some of the steps I would like to take as your premier. As you have seen in all my policy announcements, I am working towards greener jobs, more sustainable jobs, but I'm also committing to those. As you have seen throughout all of my announcements, I'm committing resources, funding to green jobs, to the jobs of the future, to moving our economy into being more sustainable, and I'm committing dollars today to a greener economy. I do not want to give Nova Scotians platitudes. I want to execute on making this province more green, and your Nova Scotia government and I will ensure that that happens. Please come join me, votelabby.ca. Thank you. To stay up to date, please subscribe and like this video.